The galactic menace. In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, few weapons struck as much fear into the hearts of sentient beings as the dreaded oxygen bombs. These terrifying devices, first developed by the now extinct Zorn Empire, had the power to ignite entire atmospheres, turning habitable worlds into infernos in a matter of hours. The devastation they caused was unparalleled, capable of wiping out all life on a planet while leaving its valuable resources intact for the taking. For centuries, the mere mention of oxygen bombs sent shivers down the spines of diplomats and military leaders across the galaxy. The Galactic Council, a loose federation of spacefaring races, had long ago banned their production and use, but the fear remained, a constant reminder of the fragility of life in the face of such destructive potential. Humanity, still relatively new to the galactic stage, had heard the stories. They'd seen the recordings of worlds burning, entire civilizations snuffed out in a flash of chemical fury. But where others saw only terror and destruction, the curious minds of human scientists saw possibility. Dr. Ilara Chen, a brilliant xenochemist working at the Terran Science Academy on Mars, had always been fascinated by the forbidden technology. There has to be more to it, she would often muse to her colleagues. Something that powerful, that reactive. If we could just understand it better, maybe we could harness it for good. Her words were met with skepticism at best, outright hostility at worst. "Are you insane?" her department head had shouted when she first proposed studying the bombs. "That's not just illegal, it's suicide. One mistake, and you could blow up half the planet." But Ilara was not deterred. She knew the risks, but she also knew that humanity's greatest strengths had always been its ability to see potential where others saw only danger. With the reluctant blessing of a few forward-thinking officials in the Terran government, she assembled a small team of the brightest minds Earth had to offer. Their lab, hidden deep within the Martian caves, was a marvel of containment technology. Every precaution was taken, every failsafe implemented twice over. For months, they worked in secret, analyzing the scant data available on oxygen bomb composition and studying the fundamental chemistry behind their devastating effects. It was during one particularly late night of experimentation that everything changed. Ilara, bleary-eyed from hours of staring at molecular simulations, accidentally knocked over a vial of synthesized bomb components. She braced for an explosion, but instead, a sweet, intoxicating scent filled the air. What is that smell?" her assistant, Dr. Marcus Wong, asked, his nose twitching. Ilara took a cautious sniff. "It's amazing. Like nothing I've ever experienced before." As the two scientists investigated further, they realized they had stumbled upon something extraordinary. The volatile compounds that made oxygen bombs so destructive, when combined with certain stabilizing agents, produced a fragrance of unparalleled complexity and appeal. "Do you realize what this means?" Ilara exclaimed, her eyes wide with excitement. "We've done it. We've found a way to repurpose the most feared weapon in the galaxy into something beautiful." News of their discovery spread quickly through human space. At first, there was skepticism and fear. But as more people experienced the remarkable scent firsthand, attitudes began to shift. Perfumers and chemists from around Earth and its colonies clamored to work with Ilara's team, refining the formula and exploring its potential. Within months, the first commercial product was ready for release. They called it Breath of Life, a name that playfully acknowledged its origins while emphasizing its transformative nature. The marketing campaign was bold, almost provocative. "Experience the scent that's taking the galaxy by storm. The perfume that turned terror into bliss." As Breath of Life hit the markets of Earth and its colonies, the response was overwhelming. Humans couldn't get enough of the intoxicating fragrance. It quickly became the must-have luxury item, with waiting lists stretching months for each new batch. But it wasn't just the scent that captivated people. The story behind it, the very idea that humanity had taken something so feared and turned it into a thing of beauty, resonated deeply. It spoke to the core of what many believe made humans special: their creativity, their ability to see possibilities where others saw only threats. As the perfume's popularity soared, however, so did concerns from the wider galactic community. The Galactic Council, initially dismissive of what they saw as a human folly, began to take notice. Alien diplomats demanded explanations, their alarm growing as they realized the implications of what humanity had achieved. Ilara and her team found themselves thrust into the spotlight, facing not just scientific scrutiny, but political pressure as well. They knew they stood at a crossroads, one that could define humanity's place in the galaxy for generations to come. As the first shipments of Breath of Life prepared to leave Earth's solar system, bound for human colonies on distant worlds, Ilara couldn't help but feel a mix of pride and apprehension. They had unlocked the secret of the oxygen bombs, yes, but in doing so, they had also uncorked a genie that could not easily be put back in its bottle. The galaxy was about to experience the full impact of human ingenuity, for better or for worse, and Ilara Chen, the scientist who had dared to dream of turning a weapon into a wonder, knew that their journey was only just beginning. The perfume revolution. As Breath of Life made its way across human-controlled space, its impact was nothing short of revolutionary. Colonies that had once struggled to attract settlers now found themselves flooded with immigrants, all drawn by the allure of the miraculous perfume. The scent didn't just smell good, it seemed to have an almost supernatural effect on those who wore it. Reports began flooding in from all corners of human space. People claimed the perfume boosted their confidence, improved their mood, and even enhanced their cognitive abilities. Scientists scrambled to explain the phenomenon, theorizing that the unique molecular structure of the fragrance interacted with human biochemistry in ways they were only beginning to understand. Dr. Ilara Chen and her team worked tirelessly to refine the formula, exploring new combinations and effects. They discovered that by tweaking certain compounds, they could create variations that induced specific emotional states or mental focus. The military took notice, commissioning a version designed to keep soldiers alert and focused during long missions. But it wasn't just humans who were affected by Breath of Life. As the perfume made its way to the fringes of human space, curious aliens began to experience its effects firsthand. The results were startling and varied wildly from species to species. The Jotak, a race of empathic beings, found that the scent amplified their natural abilities, allowing them to connect more deeply with those around them. The warrior Krell, on the other hand, reported feeling an uncharacteristic sense of calm and introspection when exposed to the fragrance. As word of these effects spread, demand for Breath of Life exploded across the galaxy. Human diplomats suddenly found themselves in an unprecedented position of influence, with alien races clamoring for access to the miraculous perfume. But with this newfound power came increased scrutiny and suspicion. The Galactic Council, already wary of humanity's rapid rise, saw the perfume as a potential threat to galactic stability. Emergency sessions were called, and heated debates raged over how to respond to this unexpected development. Ambassador Jack Harper, Earth's representative to the Galactic Council, found himself in the hot seat. A seasoned diplomat with a reputation for clever negotiation, Harper knew that humanity's future in the galactic community hung in the balance. Distinguished colleagues, he addressed the council, his voice calm but authoritative. I understand your concerns, but I implore you to see Breath of Life not as a threat, but as an opportunity. An opportunity for greater understanding between our species, for healing old wounds, and for forging new bonds of cooperation. His words fell on skeptical ears. The Volcran ambassador, a being of living crystal, vibrated with agitation. Pretty words, human. But how can we trust that you won't use this weapon of mass affection for nefarious purposes? Your kind has a history of turning scientific discoveries into instruments of war. Harper smiled, a glint in his eye. An understandable concern, esteemed Volcran. which is why we propose full transparency in our production and distribution of Breath of Life. We invite observers from all council races to oversee our facilities to verify that we are using this discovery for the betterment of all, not the subjugation of any. The offer took many by surprise. Such openness was rare in galactic politics, where secrets were guarded as fiercely as any treasure. But Harper knew that humanity's best chance at acceptance lay in embracing radical honesty. As the council debated, Dr. Chen and her team continued their work. They had begun to explore applications beyond mere perfume, looking into medical uses for the stabilized oxygen compounds. Early trials showed promise in treating respiratory diseases and even reversing the effects of certain toxic atmospheres. But it was a chance discovery by one of Chen's junior researchers that would truly change the game. While studying the perfume's effects on plant life, Dr. Yuki Tanaka noticed something extraordinary. Plants exposed to Breath of Life didn't just grow faster. They thrived in conditions that should have been lethal. "Dr. Chen, you need to see this," Yuki exclaimed, practically dragging Ilara to her lab station. "I exposed these seedlings to levels of radiation that should have killed them instantly. But look." Ilara peered into the growth chamber, her eyes widening in disbelief. Where she expected to see withered husks, vibrant green shoots reached upwards, their leaves unfurling with impossible vigor. This changes everything," Ilara breathed, her mind racing with the implications. "If we can refine this, adapt it to larger scales, we could terraform dead worlds," Yuki finished, her voice filled with awe. As news of this latest breakthrough reached Ambassador Harper, he knew he had the key to securing humanity's place in the galaxy. The next council session would be crucial. "Esteemed colleagues," Harper addressed the assembled aliens, his voice resonating through the grand chamber. "We stand at a crossroads. The choice before us is simple. We can cling to fear, to suspicion, to the shadows of past conflicts, or we can step boldly into a brighter future, together." With a gesture, he activated a holographic display, showing the miraculous plant growth in vivid detail. "What you see before you is not a weapon, not a tool of dominance. It is hope, given form. The power to breathe life into dead worlds, to heal the scars of war and natural disaster." A murmur rippled through the council chamber as the implications sank in. Even the most hardened skeptics couldn't deny the potential of what they were seeing. "We extend our hand in partnership," Harper continued, his voice swelling with emotion. "Let us write the next chapter of galactic history not in the ink of conflict, but in the vibrant hues of new life, of worlds reborn. All we ask is the chance to prove ourselves worthy of your trust." As Harper's words echoed through the chamber, Ilara Chen stood in her lab on Mars, watching the proceedings via secure transmission. She held a vial of Breath of Life up to the light, marveling at how such a small thing could hold such immense potential. "From the ashes of war," she murmured, "we've forged a key to the stars themselves." The galaxy held its breath, awaiting the council's decision. Humanity's moment of truth had arrived, carried on the winds of a scent that had already begun to change everything. Alien resistance and human diplomacy. The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with tension as Ambassador Jack Harper's proposal hung in the air. The assembled representatives of 100 alien races shifted in their seats, antennae twitching and tentacles writhing as they processed the implications of what humanity was offering. It was the Arxer delegate, a being of living shadow and cosmic energy, who broke the silence. "Pretty words and prettier pictures, human," it hissed, its voice like static on a solar wind. "But we've seen this dance before. A young race discovers a powerful new technology and promises to share it freely. Then, when we've grown dependent, the knife slides between our ribs." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. The Arxer's words had given voice to the fears many harbored, but had been hesitant to express so bluntly. Harper remained unruffled. He had anticipated this response, and was prepared. "Esteemed Arxer, your caution is both understandable and commendable, which is why we're not asking for your trust. We're asking for the opportunity to earn it." With a gesture, he brought up a new holographic display. It showed a barren, lifeless world, a victim of a long-ago war that had left it a toxic wasteland. "This is Novus Secundus, a planet in neutral space. We propose a demonstration, conducted under the full supervision of the Council. Let us show you, in real time, the power of breath of life to restore what was thought forever lost." The chamber erupted in debate. Some delegates were intrigued by the boldness of the offer, while others saw it as a transparent ploy. The Vulcan ambassador, who had been one of humanity's harshest critics, surprised everyone by speaking in favor of the proposal. "We have nothing to lose by observing," the crystalline being chimed, its facets sparkling with inner light. "If the humans fail, we will have proof of their limitations. If they succeed, well, that is a possibility worth considering." As the council argued, Dr. Ilara Chen and her team were already hard at work, preparing for the greatest challenge of their careers. They knew that the fate of humanity's place in the galaxy rested on their ability to deliver on Harper's audacious promise. "We'll need to modify the formula for large-scale dispersal," Ilara mused, poring over atmospheric simulations, "and account for the unique chemical composition of Novus Secundus's ruined ecosystem." Dr. Yuki Tanaka, who had become Ilara's right hand, nodded in agreement. "I've been running models on how the native microbial life might interact with our compounds. We'll need to be careful not to create any unintended consequences." As the scientists worked, Ambassador Harper found himself navigating an increasingly complex political landscape. Some races, intrigued by the potential of breath of life, began reaching out privately, seeking preferential access or exclusive contracts. Others, still suspicious of human motives, worked behind the scenes to undermine the Novus Secundus project before it could even begin. It was during one particularly tense negotiation with the Jotak delegation that Harper had an epiphany. The empathic aliens had expressed concern about the perfume's potential to be used as a mind-altering substance, possibly even a form of chemical control. "What if," Harper mused, struck by sudden inspiration, "we didn't just invite observers to the project? What if we made it a truly collaborative effort?" The idea took root and quickly blossomed. Harper proposed that each major galactic race send not just observers, but active participants to the Novus Secundus mission. Scientists, engineers, and ecological experts from across the galaxy would work alongside the human team, sharing knowledge and providing real-time oversight. This masterstroke of diplomacy helped ease many of the lingering doubts. It was harder to fear or mistrust something when you were actively involved in its creation. As news of the collaborative nature of the project spread, public opinion across the galaxy began to shift. Curiosity and cautious optimism began to replace suspicion and dread. But not everyone was won over. A coalition of hardline isolationist races, led by the xenophobic Krell Empire, denounced the Novus Secundus project as a Trojan horse for human last edited 5 minutes ago. Alien resistance and human diplomacyclic networks, with dire warnings about the dangers of breath of life and humanity's true intentions. Ambassador Harper found himself working around the clock, countering misinformation and soothing frayed nerves. It was during a particularly heated debate with the Krell ambassador that he made a breakthrough. "You fear us because you don't understand us," Harper said, his voice calm but firm. "So let me extend an invitation. Send your best and brightest to Earth. Let them walk among us. Study our culture, our history. See for themselves that we are not the monsters you paint us to be." The Krell ambassador, a towering reptilian being, hissed in surprise. Such openness was unheard of in galactic politics. "And if we find evidence of your duplicity," he challenged. Harper smiled. "Then you'll have all the proof you need to rally the galaxy against us. But I don't think that's what you'll find." As preparations for the Novus Secundus project continued, Earth became a hub of interstellar cultural exchange. Alien scientists and diplomats from across the galaxy arrived in droves, eager to learn more about the enigmatic humans and their miraculous discovery. Dr. Chen and her team found themselves hosting workshops and seminars, explaining the intricacies of breath of life to beings with biology so different from their own that new forms of scientific notation had to be invented just to bridge the gap. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Cultural misunderstandings abounded, and more than one diplomatic incident was narrowly avoided. There was the time a Zotac empath accidentally triggered a panic attack in a crowded lecture hall by broadcasting their own nervousness, or the day a curious Volcrin nearly shattered itself trying to taste a sample of the perfume with its crystalline body. Through it all, humanity's adaptability and sense of humor served them well. They approached each challenge with a mix of creativity and determination that both baffled and impressed their alien guests. As the launch date for the Novus Secundus mission approached, excitement built across the galaxy. Billions of beings from thousands of worlds tuned in to watch the live broadcasts from the ruined planet. The first phase of the project was tense, as the modified breath of life compound was released into Novus Secundus's atmosphere. Everyone held their breath. For days, there was no visible change, and critics began to crow about humanity's failure. But Dr. Chen and her team, both human and alien, worked tirelessly, adjusting the formula and refusing to give up. And then, on the seventh day, it happened. A single blade of grass, vibrant green against the dull red of the toxic soil, pushed its way to the surface. The images were broadcast across the galaxy, and the response was immediate and overwhelming. Cheers erupted in the streets of 1,000 worlds. In the Galactic Council chamber, even the most hardened skeptics found themselves moved by the sight of life returning to a world long thought dead. As the days turned to weeks, and weeks to months, Novus Secundus underwent a transformation that could only be described as miraculous. Forests sprouted where there had been only dust. Crystal-clear waters filled dried riverbeds. And in the skies, the first native birds in centuries took flight. The success of the Novus Secundus project marked a turning point in galactic history. Humanity, once viewed with suspicion and fear, was now seen as a source of hope and innovation. Breath of life was no longer just a perfume or a terraforming agent. It had become a symbol of renewal and cooperation across the stars. As Ambassador Harper stood before the Galactic Council once more, he felt the weight of the moment. Distinguished colleagues, he began, his voice filled with emotion. What we have achieved on Novus Secundus is only the beginning. We stand ready to work with all of you, to heal the scars of old conflicts and breathe new life into worlds thought lost forever. The chamber, once filled with suspicion and debate, now rang with applause. The galaxy had taken its first, tentative steps into a new era of cooperation and hope. But as Harper basked in the moment of triumph, a small part of him couldn't help but wonder, what new challenges would this brave new galaxy bring? And would humanity be ready to face them? The terraforming breakthrough. The success of the Novus Secundus project catapulted humanity into a new era of galactic prominence. Dr. Ilara Chen and her team found themselves at the center of a scientific revolution, with research facilities across the galaxy clamoring for their expertise. But it was a discovery made in the quiet of her Mars laboratory that would once again reshape the course of history. Late one night, as Ilara pored over data from Novus Secundus, she noticed an anomaly. The regenerative effects of breath of life weren't just limited to plant life. They were affecting the planet on a fundamental level. Yuki. She called to her colleague, excitement bubbling in her voice. Look at these readings from the planet's core. Dr. Yuki Tanaka hurried over, her eyes widening as she scanned the holographic displays. That's impossible, she breathed. The planetary magnetic field is regenerating. Ilara nodded, her mind racing with the implications. It's not just terraforming the surface. Breath of life is somehow kickstarting the planet's internal processes. We're not just restoring ecosystems, we're bringing dead worlds back to life on a cosmic scale. The revelation sent shockwaves through the scientific community. The ability to revive a planet's core had long been thought impossible, a dream relegated to the realm of science fiction. But now, that dream was becoming reality. As news of the discovery spread, humanity found itself facing both unprecedented opportunities and daunting challenges. Across the galaxy, races that had lost their homeworlds to war, natural disasters, or the ravages of time began petitioning Earth for help. The demand for breath of life and human expertise skyrocketed overnight. Ambassador Jack Harper, now hailed as a visionary by many in the Galactic Council, found himself navigating increasingly complex diplomatic waters. "We have a responsibility," he argued in a closed-door session with Earth's leadership. "But we also have to be careful. This kind of power, it could easily be misused." The debate raged for weeks. Some argued that humanity should freely share their discovery with all races, seeing it as a chance to establish lasting peace across the galaxy. Others cautioned restraint, fearing that unrestricted access to such powerful technology could lead to unforeseen consequences or even new conflicts. In the end, a compromise was reached. The Interstellar Restoration Initiative, IRI, was established, a joint venture between humanity and trusted alien allies. Its mission: to oversee the responsible use of breath-of-life technology in planetary restoration projects across the galaxy. Dr. Chen was appointed as the IRI's chief scientific officer, a role that saw her traveling to the farthest reaches of known space. Each world presented new challenges, forcing her team to adapt and refine their techniques. On Jotak Prime, a world ravaged by a runaway greenhouse effect, they had to modify breath of life to work in a super-dense atmosphere of toxic gases. The project took years, but the sight of the first Jotak child, born on the surface of their ancestral homeworld in generations, made every sleepless night worth it. The crystalline deserts of Volcrinia posed a different kind of challenge. The Volcrin had long ago adapted to life on a world without traditional organic matter. Restoring their planet meant finding a way to regenerate the complex mineral structures that formed the basis of their ecosystem. It was Dr. Tanaka who cracked the code, developing a variant of breath of life that could interact with inorganic compounds. But it was the restoration of Krell that truly tested the limits of human ingenuity and diplomacy. The Krell, once humanity's fiercest critics, had seen their homeworld devastated by a cosmic collision centuries ago. Their request for aid was seen by many as a final vindication of humanity's approach. The project was monumental in scale, requiring the coordinated efforts of scientists and engineers from dozens of races. As work progressed, the Krell's initial skepticism gave way to grudging respect, and eventually to something approaching friendship. Ambassador Harper, present for the activation of the final phase of Krell's restoration, couldn't help but reflect on how far they'd come. Standing beside him was Savrov, the same Krell ambassador who had once accused humanity of plotting galactic domination. As they watched the barren surface of Krell begin to shimmer with the first signs of life, Savrov turned to Harper, his reptilian features unreadable. "I once feared your people would be the death of us all," he rumbled. "I never imagined you would instead be the ones to give us new life." Harper smiled, feeling the weight of the moment. "That's the thing about humans, Ambassador," he replied. "We have a habit of surprising even ourselves." As news of Krell's restoration spread across the galaxy, it marked a turning point in interstellar relations. The success of the project, achieved through unprecedented cooperation between former adversaries, became a powerful symbol of what could be accomplished when races set aside their differences and worked together. But even as they celebrated their achievements, Dr. Chen and her team knew their work was far from over. Each restored world brought new discoveries, new challenges, and new questions about the nature of life itself. And in the vast, uncharted regions of the galaxy, ancient eyes watched humanity's ascent with growing interest. The age of restoration had begun, but what new wonders, or terrors, would it unearth? As Ilara Chen gazed out at the stars from the observation deck of the IRI's flagship, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were standing on the threshold of something even greater than they had imagined. Breath of Life had changed everything, but she suspected its true potential was only beginning to be understood. With a mixture of excitement and trepidation, she turned back to her work. The galaxy was calling, and humanity had only just begun to answer. A new era of cooperation. As the success stories of planetary restoration spread across the galaxy, the perception of humanity underwent a dramatic shift. Once viewed as upstart newcomers or potential threats, humans were now seen as invaluable allies in the quest to heal the scars of ancient conflicts and natural disasters. The Interstellar Restoration Initiative, IRI, became a beacon of hope for countless civilizations. Races that had long ago resigned themselves to exile from their homeworlds now dared to dream of return. The waiting list for restoration projects grew longer with each passing cycle, and the demand for human expertise skyrocketed. Dr. Ilara Chen found herself at the center of a whirlwind of activity. Her days were filled with groundbreaking research, diplomatic negotiations, and the constant challenge of adapting Breath of Life technology to new and often bizarre environments. One particularly memorable project took her team to the gas giant Nebulas, home to a race of sentient plasma beings. The Nebulan's world was slowly cooling, threatening their very existence. Modifying Breath of Life to work in an environment without solid matter pushed the limits of what they thought possible. "We're not just terraforming anymore," Ilara mused to her colleague Dr. Yuki Tanaka as they watched their modified compound ignite new fusion reactions in Nebula's core. "We're reshaping the very foundations of worlds." As humanity's influence grew, so too did the challenges they faced. Not everyone in the galaxy welcomed the changes brought by Breath of Life technology. On some worlds, long-dormant species were reawakened, leading to complex ecological and ethical dilemmas. Other planets saw the emergence of new hybrid life forms, born from the interaction between the restoration compounds and native biochemistry. The Galactic Council, once a forum for debate and often conflict, evolved into a hub of scientific and cultural exchange. Races that had been bitter enemies for millennia now found themselves working side by side on restoration projects, their ancient grudges fading in the face of shared purpose. Ambassador Jack Harper, now serving as humanity's senior representative to the Council, often marveled at the transformation. "We came to the stars hoping to find new frontiers," he remarked during a celebration marking the 100th successful planetary restoration. "Instead, we found a galaxy in need of healing, and in healing others, we've grown in ways we never imagined." But even as they celebrated their achievements, new challenges loomed on the horizon. The restoration of so many worlds had begun to alter the delicate balance of galactic ecosystems on a scale never before seen. Strange phenomena began to appear in the spaces between stars: gravitational anomalies, unexplained energy signatures, and whispers of ancient forces stirring after eons of slumber. Dr. Chen and her team found themselves racing against time to understand these new developments. "We've opened a door," she warned the Council during an emergency session, "and we're only just beginning to grasp what's on the other side." As if in response to her words, a series of startling discoveries rocked the scientific community. On a distant world at the edge of known space, an IRI survey team uncovered ruins of breathtaking complexity, evidence of a civilization that predated all known galactic history. Initial analysis of the site revealed traces of technology far beyond anything currently known, including compounds eerily similar to the base elements of Breath of Life. The implications were staggering. Had humanity not invented the miracle substance, but rediscovered it? As news of the discovery spread, the galaxy seemed to hold its breath. Some saw it as the dawn of a new age of enlightenment, a chance to unlock the secrets of creation itself. Others warned of hubris, fearing that in their eagerness to reshape worlds, they might awaken forces beyond their control. In the midst of this turmoil, humanity found itself in an unexpected position, that of mediator and voice of reason. The very traits that had once made them objects of suspicion, their adaptability, their drive to explore and understand, now made them uniquely suited to navigate the challenges ahead. We stand at a crossroads. Ambassador Harper addressed the council, his voice carrying the weight of the moment. The power we wield is greater than anything our races have known. We can use it to retreat into fear and isolation, or we can embrace it as a call to come together, to explore and grow as one galactic community. As Harper spoke, Dr. Chen and her team were already preparing for their next mission. The ruins at the edge of space beckoned, promising answers to questions they had only just learned to ask. Ilara gazed out at the star-filled void, feeling a mix of excitement and trepidation. "We thought we were bringing life back to dead worlds," she murmured. "But maybe we're part of something much bigger, the galaxy itself coming back to life." As humanity and their alien allies stood on the brink of this new frontier, one thing was clear. The journey that had begun with a simple perfume had led them to the threshold of cosmic mysteries beyond imagination. The true nature of breath of life, and humanity's role in the grand tapestry of the universe, was a story only beginning to unfold. The stars beckoned, filled with promise and peril in equal measure. And humanity, once newcomers to the galactic stage, now found themselves leading the way into an uncertain but thrilling future. As the IRI flagship prepared to embark on its mission to the ancient ruins, Ilara Chen took one last look at the shimmering beauty of restored worlds visible from the observation deck, each one a testament to what could be achieved when fear gave way to hope, when destruction was transformed into creation. "Ready or not," she whispered to the cosmos, "here we come." And with that, humanity and their allies took their first steps into a new chapter of galactic history, one they would write together, powered by the endless possibilities of the breath of life.